Who knew map making could be so much fun? This guy did. Hey everyone, Kylie here at Games Unlimited with our RPG guru, Candra. He wants to tell us a little bit about Beak, Feather, and Bone. This is a map labeling RPG? What does that mean?
So, very literally, you've got a printed map and you can use the ones included with the book, or you can make or print out your own as long as they're blank and unkeyed, because the game itself will be keying the map.
What do you mean by keying?
So, just like you do if you have played other RPGs, if you're making your world map or your dungeon map, you draw the map itself and then you key it by labeling on a separate sheet of paper, in this case a pile of note cards, what each location means in the game.
Okay, gotcha. So you're sort of like creating, I'm thinking traditionally of a dungeon, right? Like, different rooms in the dungeon, but this could be like a city or something like that.
Yeah, it's by default, it's this sort of isolated cliffside settlement. In one of my games that I ran with it, I printed out what looked to me like an elven village in the woods on a riverside. But you can use any sort of small-ish settlement as your basis.
Cool.
And yeah, what you're doing, it's semi-competitive. Okay. So each player at the table is representing a faction in the town, one of the power players. And they are drawing cards from a regular deck of cards and rolling a regular 10-sided die to figure out who controls which buildings on the map.
Okay.
And when you control a building, or whenever a particular faction claims it, you take a note card and you write down the name of that building, its public function, and also extra details like a secret function or a non-player character that is important in that location, things like that.
So this is world building for your RPG. It is
straight up world building, and you can play it as a game unto itself.
Okay.
And it's really fun as that, but you can also do what I did and incorporate it into an ongoing RPG campaign and get your players involved in building the setting with you.
So you sort of like take a session, instead of doing your normal RPG, you're going to take a session, we're going to build something up, and then you go play in it later?
Yeah, so I surprised my players with it in one of my campaigns. I didn't tell them what was up. We got together for our regular session, and I just slapped a deck of cards, a D10, and a map on the table, and was like, this is what we're doing, guys. Randomized who was which faction, and off we went.
Gotcha.
And then the very next session, I was like, okay, you guys were crawling around in the woods. You emerged to find yourselves on the verge of this settlement. And their eyes lit up. They immediately knew what they were looking at and felt a connection to it because they knew all the power dynamics going on there.
That's cool. And you don't have to use there's like a bunch of bird people illustrations in it.
By default, it is bird people, and you can see the different factions in there. Merchants, elders, travelers, whatever. And you can use that. In fact, I recommend using that to start with to get a feel for the game, but you can very quickly and easily modify it to your own needs if you want to use it in an existing campaign. So I just renamed all of these to things that made sense to me in an elven village, and otherwise ran it as written.
That's cool. That's really cool. I think that's pretty innovative too. And the designer's local.
Yeah, he sure is.
Even better.
He's over in Millvale.
That's awesome. And I believe there is an expansion for it coming out very soon.
There is. Claw Atlas is coming out soon. It will have, so the base comes with a few copies of the default map that you can use, but Claw Atlas will be coming with new maps, as well as some new factions and some new mechanics to play around with. And I'm really looking forward to digging into that myself.
That's cool. Well, Chandra, thank you for talking to us about Beak, Feather, and Bone. You are the RPG guy. If you haven't been down to the store and talked with Chandra, he knows more about RPGs than just about anybody I know. So come check out Beak, Feather, and Bone. Check out Claw Atlas when it comes in. Just come learn about RPGs with Chandra. Take something home and unbox some fun. We'll see you later.